This is Todd Strange from the band I Am, and you are watching CMS TV. Yeah.
So we're getting a bunch of, well, not a bunch, one guy that's said it 14 times, I think, tonight. Do you want to talk about Blotzer and Piercy and all this
Well, yeah, let's talk
stuff?
about that. Sure.
Do we start with Blotz or do we start with Piercy?
You know what? I just briefly saw this, so I'm not as up to date on this
Right.
as I could be, but I know that Blotzer has made some commentary, and I know Piercy has responded. And
Yeah, we'll start with Blotz.
all right.
So Blotz, boy, he's looking healthy as always. Jeez, oh man. Let's see, where's it at here? Blotzer says Ratt always crushed Motley Crue musically. And not gonna lie, I agree with him. Do you?
Well, Motley and Ratt were always friends. They were always
Sure.
friendly. I mean, because they, as far as the music videos were concerned,
Sure.
if you watched MTV music videos, Motley did some cameos in the Rat videos, and they were always very friendly on the road. And they basically came up at the same time in the Hollywood scene and so on and so forth. But I can't comment. As far as music, the talent is concerned, I would say that Rat was much more talented than Motley Crue.
You don't think their albums are better than Motley's? I do.
Yeah, well, from musicality, from this talent standpoint, yeah, because Warren was a great guitarist, Crosby, great guitarist. Juan, he floated back.
Great dancer, yeah.
Yeah, he floated back and forth between Dokken and Rat, which he obviously landed in Rat.
Sure.
Permanently. And Blotzer, yeah, I don't know. Is Blotzer any kind of a real accomplished drummer?
Look, you don't get to be in Queensryche by being an average drummer.
Okay. But the point is that from a musician standpoint, yeah, Rat is better.
Yeah. I think for me, they're better in every category except making money.
Sure.
That's the only place they fail, is they never made as much money. And I mean, even if you look at popularity, Motley was always first and Ratt was always third, with Bon Jovi wedged in the middle there for that period. Don't you think?
Well, if I'm thinking back, did you hear about Ratt first or did you hear about Motley first?
Motley.
Really? Before Rat's Round and Round?
Oh yeah.
What was
Shout of the Devil, Looks to Kill.
That was out before Rat Round and Round?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm
just asking the question. I don't know the answer.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Let's see. Ratt Out of the Cellar. Ratt Out of the Cellar came out in 1984.
Okay.
And now I'm pretty sure that Looks a Kill, or whatever that one, Shout the Devil. Motley Shout at the Devil, I'm pretty sure came out in 83. Where you at? Wiki. It came out in September of 83.
Okay. So late in 83, and then Rat followed up behind that.
Yeah, but there was a decent amount of people that also knew Motley before then too, from the Too Fast for Love and Piece of Your Action days.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I mean, they were out first. They were definitely out first. Motley was, and they were certainly more popular Who was more popular, Motley or Bon Jovi? Bon Jovi really wasn't more popular at this time.
No, Bon Jovi didn't hit their popularity until Slippery When Wet.
Yeah, 86.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they blew past everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, once Living on a Prayer came out, that sealed the deal right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were close though. I mean, I'm definitely not trying to say that, Motley Crue was a zillion times worse than Ratt. I'm just saying that Ratt was the better band.
Yeah, well,
all the way around.
Musically and what do you want to call talent-wise, Ratt was a superior band. Talent.
I think Ratt was superior to them, and in my opinion, Ratt was superior to Motley Crue in every aspect you can count on, except for making money. What aspect of Motley Crue do you think is better than Ratt?
I don't think any of them.
Yeah, creatively they were better. They were better live. Motley always sucked live. I can't think of one area that Motley Crue was better than Ratt. Certainly not in those days.
Well, again, what surprises me, and again, maybe not so much surprise, but Ratt and Motley were boys.
Oh yeah,
they were very simpatico, if you want the term, together at the same time.
They were all banging the same whores on the strip.
It wasn't a rivalry at all.
No, not at all.
They were very obviously the link between the two bands was Tawny Katane, because Tawny was with Robin Crosby and Ratt, but
right.
And she performed in their videos and all that other stuff, and Motley was same thing. They were all banging the same chicks, as you just said.
Yeah. So there was no rivalry. So, I agree with Blotzer's statement here. I mean, we'll get into what he said, but
okay.
In the new interview with Troy Patrick Farrell, Ratt drummer Bobby Blotzer was asked if he thinks the band's classic lineup will reunite to celebrate the upcoming box set. I'm skipping words, obviously. He responded, "Well, that's where are we at? Well, that's a long time golden question, isn't it now? Fuck, I don't know, dude. I'm always hoping that this is going to go down for my own peace of mind and my sleep at night. The Ratmares the Ratmares that I was having for 8 years during the litigation were pretty disturbing. It's better now because it's all over, that bit of it. So now that it is over, that is where it should. Everybody should just brush it off. If we can have a war with Japan and then sell their fucking TVs 10, 15 years later, I think Ratt can get up there and shake their butts, make some money, and make people happy. The kids come out, etc."
The kids.
What kids?
You mean the guys that are your age?
Yeah,
in their 50s and the 60s, the kids. We're no longer the kids. Bob.
Yeah. Well, and of course, this is what Bobby wants, because he's the one that lost all the money for the last 8 years in litigation. That's his words. He said, now that the 8 years of litigation are over, it's time to get back to work.
Because you tried to hijack the name and the band and all that other stuff, and you got sued and you lost.
Yeah. And I'll give it to Steven especially, but Steven and Juan and Warren, if they all come back together, I don't know that I could do that. I don't know that I could ever work again, no matter how much money. I think I'd be on the Skid Row side of things.
Well,
I don't think I could ever work again with somebody that tried to steal what was partly mine, and then, we were in litigation with for years. Could you?
No, but I think the holdout here, if this were to ever happen or not happen, is Warren.
Yeah, because he don't need to.
Yeah, he doesn't need to, and it's just like I don't need this problem.
Well, not only that, he also doesn't need the uncomfortability of touring.
Sure.
They're not going to get the Motley Crue deal. They're not going to get the private jet. They're not going to get the, first class accommodation, first class hotel every night and all that stuff. They're not, and I'm not slamming Steven for this, but it's because Steven and before this Bobby they've kept touring. They've kept touring to where there's not
there's not a market for it.
There's not a holy shit market for it.
Right.
There's still people. I mean, obviously, there's definitely people that want to see Steven sing these songs or they want to hear these Ratt songs.
But they can see Steven sing these songs because he's touring out there as a solo band, and he's got a very competent solo band.
Right. Now, the only caveat to this, now that I'm saying this, I'm thinking on the fly here. How come it works for Motley with Vince butchering their songs every night? Not only in Motley, but as a solo artist. Is it because those guys are more famous? They just want to see Tommy Lee. They just want to see Nikki Sixx.
No, you got to admit, none of the Ratt guys did reality TV shows like Tommy Goes Back to School and the Pamela Anderson shit and Nikki Sixx, dalliances with Donna D'Erico and, what was that tattoo chick name?
Kat Von
D. Yeah. Yeah. His relationship with her and, so on and so forth. So aside from musicians, they have celebrity.
Yeah. And that's why I think Motley can still do it on this level, even though Vince has kind of really killed the brand, So I don't know. I just don't see it being there for that. I mean, honestly, do you think a Ratt with the original guys and Carlos or Eric or whoever the fuck the other guitar player would be, do you think that a Ratt demands more than double what Steven makes now?
I don't know what Steven makes
I don't either
as a solo act.
Yeah. I don't know either, but my question is, do you think whatever that number is, Ratt could double it to where it would be worth Steven's time?
Well, even if they doubled it, they still have to split it up.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Even if they double it, Steven has to take a pay cut.
Yeah, because they have to split it 4 ways.
So really, they would almost have to quadruple it.
Yeah.
So if Steven, let's just throw numbers, and I have no idea what the numbers are.
I'm going to throw a number out there, and this is not a real number. This is a guess. 15.
So if Steven gets 15, in order to make this work, it would have to be 60 for Steven to make the same money he makes today.
Yeah. 4 times 15 would, of course, 60,000. Right.
Yeah. So $60,000
to get Ratt
to be a break even for Steven Piercy. And that's not even including why would Steven put up with the headaches of it?
Well, again, that's the whole thing. That's why Don doesn't do the whole Dokken thing. It's because, solo, I know what he gets, or not, solo or under the Dokken name.
Banner or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. He would have to take a pay cut to bring in George and Jeff and possibly Mick's brother.
Yeah. Yeah, and nobody's going to pay that.
No, they're not going to pay that kind of money.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Ratt doing like 2 or 3 shows maybe. And I will say, I know Bobby says this somewhere in this thing that, it would be cool to do a couple of shows or something. And, okay, that could work. But I just don't see it. I just don't see the money being there for this thing.
Well, the only way that they could do this is what like Dokken did back in 2016. Go to Japan.
Yeah.
The promoters in Japan would pay that kind of money, and that would be worth it to them to do that. But as far as like a full scale tour or to make a summer tour out of it or whatever,
Yeah.
The promoters here in the U.S., if they did the U.S. tour, which is where they're the most popular, they're not going to pay that kind of money.
Yeah.
They're going to pay $25,000 tops.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. So he goes on and on. I'm not going to go into all this stuff, but he goes on and on that they're talking, but it ain't happening. And Warren's probably the holdout because they can't get him on the phone and blah, blah,
because
blah.
he doesn't need it.
Yeah. He doesn't need it.
He's the heir to the Mars candy bar company. He's one of the heirs to the Mars empire, as it were. And he gets a monthly, for lack of a better term, stipend.
Right.
So regardless if he works or not, he has money coming in. He doesn't need to go out on the road and play guitar because he doesn't need to be worried about paying his bills.
Right. So, yes, I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Knowing these guys, it probably will. It probably will happen, and they'll be dysfunctional as always.
Well, but the thing is Steven has made the commentary. I've seen him on a few things where he's, the whole Ratt thing. I don't think that is ever going to happen.
Yeah.
But again, you never know.
Yeah. You never know. You don't. But moving forward to another podcast.
Yes.
Blotzer's back talking about this again. And this time it's like, I don't know. I read this and I'll read it again here for everybody and you guys decide, but it really feels like he just is good at sabotaging himself. Because it's like, why would you even say this stuff? Why wouldn't you shut up? If it's potentially happening, why wouldn't you shut up instead of being on social media or on a podcast talking about it? Let it play out. It's the reason Lynch hasn't been able to fully get the Dokken thing going because he always talks and it gets back to Don that he says stupid shit. Right? I mean, that's part of it, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, again, not speaking for Don, but I know for a fact Don hears the stuff because in private conversations, Don will be like, did you hear what so-and-so said about blah, 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 blah?
Yes.
Don hears all of it. And I'm going to imagine Steven hears all of this stuff too. So anyway, I'll pull this up here let me pull it up. Where is it at? There it is. So Bobby says his comments were misconstrued.
Were they?
Even if they were exactly what he said.
All right.
In a new interview, Blotzer elaborated on his comments while addressing the possibility of the classic Ratt lineup, blah, 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 blah. He said, I did an interview 3 weeks ago, and I said to this question with my friend Troy Patrick Farrell, he's got some podcast as well, and he goes right in, man, and starts asking me this stuff. Hey, what about Motley? What about... I mean, it wasn't even like, hey, dude, how are you doing, man? What's happening? I guess we do that on a regular phone call. So his first piece of blame here is that he was blindsided into this question.
So he doesn't have the presence of mind to answer the question correctly. So it's just like, well, he forced me to say that, man.
Yeah. He caught me off guard and I said I slipped. But that doesn't mean he didn't mean it. It just means that he reacted.
Right.
But in any case, the answer to the question about the possibility of a Ratt reunion is this. Me and Steven are on the phone all the time.
Are you? Are you on the phone all the time?
Must have been right then when he was talking.
Okay.
We've been trying to put together a Ratt reunion for 2 years now. And I just saw an interview with him. I sent him a text. I go, dude, you're throwing me under the bus. What is wrong with you?
So publicly he's calling out Steven to say, what's wrong with you, man?
Exactly. This isn't going to help much.
No.
Because they're asking him, what do you think about Bobby saying Ratt crushes Motley?
And you said that, though.
Yeah. You already said what you think about it.
You said it.
Yeah.
It's on audio. You said it.
Yeah, and Steven reacted to it. So let's see here. I mean, what I said on that, as the question went from Troy, he said, I was talking to Eddie Trunk, and he was telling me he thought that Ratt's catalog blows Motley Crue away. And I said, it does, in my opinion. And I'm sure Motley said the same shit about us. But I respect them to a certain degree. I mean, I definitely respect their career. I mean, how can you not? So that was blown out of proportion.
Was it?
No, because you still said it. How about this, Bobby? Again, I'm not trying to teach you how to do media. I mean, you've got 45 fucking years of experience in it. But how about, you know what? I don't know whose was better, but we all came from a glorious time that'll never be recreated.
Yeah, we were all bros on the strip, man. Yeah. We were all just trying to scratch out a living.
It was a magic time for all of us.
Right. We were all very fortunate to get signed when we did.
And it was great to be part of that whole scene with them. How's that? I'm not media savvy, but that might be a good answer.
Well, if you ever watch our videos, Motley made a cameo in one of our videos. Yeah. That's how close we were.
Yeah. So therefore you're going to say, yeah, but we smoked them. And it's fine if he believes that. I'm all for him saying what he believes, but dude, don't be upset if somebody calls you out on it. I mean, that's the other side to this. Bobby somehow thinks that he can say shit and not have to answer for or not be held accountable for it. Like he should be able to say that and not have anybody's feelings ruffled. Meanwhile, let's do the other. Let's turn this around for a minute. Stephen Piercy, and I only know this because Eric's my co-host,
right,
is playing shows with Vince Neil on tour. They're playing shows together. They've played a few already this year, and I believe they have a few more coming later this year. So what is Stephen Piercy, who has to go and work with this guy, what's he supposed to say when his name, because it's in the context of Ratt, is being thrown out there saying Ratt was better than Motley Crue? Of course he has to step in there and say, you know what, that's Bobby's fucking opinion.
Yeah, that's Bobby just talking out his ass. We never thought that. That is my opinion. He doesn't speak for me.
Exactly. Stephen has to do that to make his working relationship in the future and in the longer future viable. Because Stephen probably needs those Vince Neil gigs. They probably pay better because it's two big artists, no?
I would imagine. It's
probably pays more.
Kind of like a package.
Yeah, so it probably is more money than a straight up Stephen Piercy solo show. I would imagine it is. So I mean, it just doesn't make sense, with this. All right, let's go. Where was I at? I mean, I definitely respect their career. I mean, how can you not? It's blown out of proportion. And then Steven did an interview and he was like, yeah, Bob's out there trying to talk about a reunion. Good luck. And I'm like, dude, I was just on the phone with you 2 days ago trying to figure out how much movement we'd made in the last 2 months. Well, not for nothing, Bobby, but apparently with that, with Steven's answer there's how much movement you've had. None. It's not happening. Regarding the likelihood of Ratt's classic lineup doing any shows in the near future, Bobby said, I want a reunion. We want a reunion. Warren, I understand, wants to take a meeting. That's all I can say about it. If it happens, it happens. If not, I don't need a job. I'm fine. I'd like to rock some more.
Are you fine?
I'm going to think he is fine. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they're releasing this box set and I know how much Dawkins got.
Yeah, I know. I made that point last week.
Yeah. So he probably got a good chunk of money from that. So with the help of next year being the 40th anniversary of Out of the Cellar, perhaps we can do something. I was talking to people over at Warner Music BMG on how we could do a special reissue of Out of the Cellar, and we were kicking around some ideas, and I said, hey, you guys, maybe you can help reboot the band, going out and doing a reunion. Stop right there. Why is this being said on a public broadcast? This is definitely the stuff that should remain behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's behind the curtain band business.
Yeah, this should not be, because what does this feel like if you're Steven or if you're Warren or if you're Juan?
You're begging for the opportunity to do this. It's just like, let's do this, guys. Come on.
And you're putting the other three guys in the position of being the bad guy. Because if it doesn't happen, now he says, well, see, I said that we should do it, and they didn't come to an agreement. He's putting those guys as the bad guys now. Now that he's not in WBS or whatever it's called, now he puts those guys on on notice, more or less, that they're the bad guys if they don't do a tour now or even a show. Right?
I would agree.
Just stupid. So I don't know, folks, he added. Contact Warren DeMartini, Juan Crucier. Warren and Steven aren't best of friends right now, even though they have control of the name. Still, as always, it's a fight. It's in shambles. But when we do it, if we get in a room, it's going to be funny, fun. Let's go. People have got to understand how much fun we have and not how much grief we have in the band. But they don't. They don't. When we saw them all together, they weren't all together.
No, not
They were completely scattered. Steven was in one place, Bobby was in another place, and we had dinner with Warren and Carlos.
Yeah, sat at the table and had lunch together.
Yeah, I mean, they were all over the backstage area. None of them were in one place. The only time I think I saw anybody, all the Ratt guys in one place, was when Eddie Van Halen came out. That's the only time that whole day I saw, and on stage. That's the only time they were together. Did you see them any other time together?
No.
Me either.
The only time that I interacted with them is when Steven wanted me to find him some ice.
Right.
For some awful Jesse James whiskey.
Yeah, that high power saloon or whatever that place is called.
Right.
Anyway, this goes on, but it's just reiterating the stuff from Troy Patrick Farrell. So that's where it is at this point. It's like, woof. Bobby's not helping his cause any.
You gotta shut your mouth, Bobby.
Yeah, just roll with it, dude.
Yeah.
You know what? If the last 8 years should have taught you anything, it's don't be on social media. It's what killed him. It's what killed him when he was, well, that and the fact that he really wasn't allowed to do what he did, but being on social media did not help him.
No.
And doing interviews like this, dude, for what? He doesn't have anything. I guess he's doing, I'm going to assume he's doing interviews to promote the box set.
Plus push his personal agenda.
Well, that's it. And maybe there probably is box set talk on these podcasts. I haven't listened to either, which is weird because I usually do listen to Troy's podcast. It's actually a very good podcast if people like that kind of music, and if you're into that era of music, Troy does a great job.
Yeah, I got to be pretty friendly with Troy over the years.
He's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah, he's from Valparaiso.
Yeah. He tried to call me out when I had him on Chris Hager Presents about 2 months ago. We had him on to talk about that band that he's doing with Chris Von Dahl.
Okay. And
I asked a White Lion question, and I said something about, I was a White Lion fan. He's like, well, what do you mean was? I was like, well, and there's not really a band anymore. So, I like the stuff I've heard, but, there's not really a band. So, but, he's good, though. I like Troy. I don't have any issues with him.
Troy's a good dude. I mean, I've hung out with him on numerous occasions and always been very kind and very friendly, and we chit-chatted up, and, he always comes over and says hello, and hey, man, it's good to see you again, and how are things? And, so Troy's a good guy. I like that guy.
Yeah, I like Troy. Talented guy. That band he's got now is pretty good. That Angels in Vain. It's a good band. I got nothing bad to say about Troy, unlike Bobby here, who seems like he feels like he was, steamrolled in this interview. I could see why,
You said what you said, Bobby.
First time he's ever done an interview in 40 years.
All right. Well, no, it's not 40 years, but regardless. But I'm going to make the proclamation right now. Bobby, if you want to come on the Classic Metal Show, you're welcome to come on.
Yeah. He's always been welcome.
We've made that invite numerous times over the years, but if you want to come on this time, you're welcome to come on.
Yeah. I may have to bow out on that one.
No, you won't.
No, I wouldn't. But yeah, I could see that causing Eric all kinds of problems.
Why would that cause Eric problems?
Well, if we start talking about Stephen Pearcy not needing to do the gig.
Well, he doesn't need to do the gig.
Yeah. I don't know. Things are a little weird with that whole camp right now.
That camp. I know it's a little strained, but
it's a little weird, but
I'm just going to go by what Steven says, that he's reached out, tried to make it happen, tried to negotiate, tried to get everybody together. That live stream video he did a couple years ago that I was at the Whiskey, that was supposed to be a Ratt reunion and couldn't get it together.
Warren and Juan didn't show up, right?
They didn't want to be a part of it. Bobby showed up. He was part of it. I hung out with him a little bit. We chatted with him for a few minutes. It is what it is. But the fact is that Warren, as talented as he is, as big as a integral part of Ratt, he doesn't need to do this.
No, he doesn't. He has no need at all
to do it. And it's just like, again, I don't know Warren's mindset, but he is in a position in his life he doesn't need to do this.
Yeah. Well, and he was never, again, I don't know Warren at all. I mean, I've met him, but I don't know him. But he never was the flamboyant, needing attention guy anyway.
No, he's a talented guitarist, obviously. Yeah. But as far as like business is concerned, or making money, or the fact that he needs a paycheck, he doesn't need to do this.
Well, he does, and he doesn't need the attention either. Like Bobby, I feel like, and my assumption, Bobby needs the attention. Bobby misses the attention. That's why he's out there doing these interviews and saying stuff that makes the news, because he misses the attention.
Yep.
I don't believe that Warren DeMartini gives a shit if he ever gets attention again. He's fine to collect his Ratt royalties and collect his fucking candy bar money and just be good.
You're probably right. Well, I will tell you, regardless if I get comped or not, I'm going to buy this box set.
Are you? Okay.
I'm just going to buy it because I'm a fan and I like it. We were gifted the Dokken box set a few months ago with Chipster, but if that offer is not made, I'm purchasing this box set.
Yeah. Why not?
I just like that kind of shit.
Hell yeah. Yeah, and you're a collector, so for you that's good.
Yeah.
All right, everybody that's saying this, you're wrong. Bobby is not broke. I don't think he's a 20 millionaire anymore, or even a 10 millionaire anymore, but he's not broke. And I say that again because we know for a fact what he just got paid. Or pretty close to what he just got paid. That would not leave him broke. Do you agree?
I agree.
He's got some money. Is he uber wealthy? No, I don't think he's uber wealthy, but he might be. I mean,
but is he comfortable? He's probably okay.
He's probably all right. I don't think he has to go back to fucking hawking vacuum cleaners or something, cleaning carpets or whatever the fuck he was doing before.
Right. Exactly.
I don't think he's there. I mean, he's still a big enough name by himself that if he ever really put back together the Bobby Blotzer, the Bobby Blotzer's Ratt experience, he'd probably still make a good buck.
He'd probably do okay.
He wouldn't make the money he was making when he was calling it Ratt, but he'd make $5,000 a night. He'd make LA Guns money.
Sure.
Whatever LA Guns makes, I don't know what they make, but if he was out there, if he found another really good singer to sing those Ratt songs, put together a decent band, he'd make LA Guns money. And that's not a bad deal, really.
Not really. If he really wanted to play and make a couple of bucks and go home, with a better than average living, he could do that.
Yeah. I'd go see it. I would definitely go see it. I'd probably piss off the Rat Lives Matter guys some, but I'd go.
Nice. All right. Well, let's play a few songs. Let's come back. Let's wrap up the show.
All right.
And I'm gonna dedicate this song to Bobby Blotzer for his words in his interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play some Shame, Shame, Shame. You should have known better.
That's right.
All right. For Bobby Blotzer, here it is. It's Ratt with Shame, Shame, Shame exclusively here
on your classic metal show.